Spoke to Ian from Military Gun about keeping your head above the waves. This is what he had to say.
While I'm on tour, I think just, finding moments to myself is my most important thing. Like, I feel like when I was really young, I toured with a lot of guys that were like a lot older than me, and they kind of taught me that like every man for themselves, which I think is a very important. Like, I don't believe in like having to move as a group. Like, I think it's like if you're the one who wants to go see something, you go see something. If I want to take a nap, I'm gonna take a nap. It's just like I think that the uh, trying to move as a collective hive mind means that like no one's minds will actually be in sync together. And so for me, like that thing is like, yeah, like today I've just been watching stuff on my phone and took a nap in the van and like, just kind of like a little like being by yourself. Like that really helps me. I'm a very antisocial person. And so that, being on tour is a very social situation, and my battery runs out quick. So it's like, for me, it's just finding those moments of isolation to recreate what I have at home. It doesn't, other people having a good time doesn't threaten me, like, and I want everyone to have a good time. I just don't necessarily always want to have the same good time.
Heck yeah. Heck, you mentioned as well, like having the same thing as when you're at home compared to when you're on tour. So what is something that keeps you mentally healthy, keeps your head above the waves while you're at home as well?
At home, it's just writing. Every day writing. Like I feel like I got into finally like my ideal rhythm where I wake up when my girlfriend goes to work. I write for the entirety of the day until she gets home, and then I hang out with her. And that's my ideal schedule. Like I don't, sometimes I work past when she gets home if I feel like I'm close to something, but otherwise, yeah, that's just channeling my restlessness and energy into a song is like, that's everything to me.
I guess speaking of like bands and songs and lyrics and stuff, then is there an example of a band, a song, a lyric, something that's maybe spoken to you, something that's maybe really you've connected with, or that's got you through like a hard time?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. I feel like growing up, a lyric that just was so important to me, and it's like it's so blunt, which I think also makes sense why our songs are so blunt. Is ceremony? Like I've got problems. I'm a fucked up kid. Like that was just like felt so seen by saying something so simple and being able to go to a show and scream that was just like the most vital thing for me as a kid. And Ceremony was like the first hardcore band I ever saw live. Like that was my introduction to this world. And they just, yeah, that was so important to me. I mean, so many of Modest Mouse lyrics as well. As life gets longer, awful feels softer, and it feels pretty soft to me. Like even as a kid, felt very in tune with that lyric, and it only feels more relevant over time because like you get really used to all the awfulness, and awful does feel softer, and like that's a good thing and a bad thing, that you can become numb to previous pains.
Has there been a moment for you? Is there a moment in your set that jumps out as like there is a real kind of clear connection between you and the audience? Have you had that moment from the other side? I guess is what I'm saying.
I don't know. I mean, it's difficult to say because I don't know what it means to somebody else. Like I feel like it would seem kind of self-important for me to put it on to other people what they're feeling about that. I know a great moment for me every night is singing God Owes Me Money, because that's a song that I struggled to write for a really long time. It was a concept that I struggled to put to words for so long, and I finally got to do it, and now I get to sing it every night. And that feels like a really beautiful moment to me, and hearing people saying God owes me money, I'll get it in time. Like it's great. And that's like the whole thing was like the concept of God owes me money is that like I'll find a way to make these things that I went through benefit me. Like the money received is the love, is the communal sharing in being fucked up. That's the payment. I'm not going to get any other payment, and like in music, you don't even really make money anymore. So money is really actually not the factor. It's just the shared experience, the bond that happens with, people who I've never met.
That's right. Has there been an example of a time when you have had really good support from a friend or a family or even an institution or a group or something like that? Has there been a moment you've had really good support?
Institutionally, for sure. I was always taken out of kind of the mainstream of school and put into counseling and programs because of, in the States, what they call being an at-risk youth. Basically, I would enter into a school system and they would go flag me as like a kid that had problems. And through that, like, that's how I learned to articulate my emotions and to kind of put a step between me and action, of like, so many of my thoughts are formulated in the way of me attempting to explain it to somebody else and not seem unreasonable. So it makes it so that I'm constantly having to deconstruct every negative feeling and before I externalize it. I'm not perfect at it. It'll never be perfect, but I do think I have a little bit more tools than other people because of that process of, like, from my earliest ages being put into those programs and having to externalize my emotions. Like, I try my best to, take them apart and put them back together before putting them out there. Obviously, there's times I act impulsively and say things I shouldn't, but it would be much worse had I not had that support.
And that very much actually is the vibe of Heads Above the Waves as well, of like taking something that you could see as objectively bad and learning from it, growing from it, turning it into something different as well. So I couldn't have written a better answer myself. Nice one, man. Good job. Okay, so final question then. Is there one piece of advice about mental health that you maybe wish that you knew years ago?
I don't know that it's like ones that are necessarily new, but what I find is like the most important is like, don't keep it a secret. I think secrets are where the truly bad things thrive. And if you can learn to say it out loud and make it not as big of a deal, then it makes it easier to deal with. My mom, despite being the person who caused so many things in my life, she was very much said, like, you can talk about it. You don't have to hide this. And through that, like, it just made it so that I never felt so alone because I would say it out loud. And yeah, secrets make you sick. So it's don't keep secrets.
That's killer. Thank you so much for your time, man. I hope the rest of the tour is a blast. I hope the show in Cardiff is great tonight as well.
Thank you.
And I love the new record as well.
Hell yeah. It means a lot to hear.
Thank you so much to the team at Clippy Bach and to Ian and from Militarie Gun for having us. If you want to find out more about keeping your head above the waves, go to hatw.co.uk.